Welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner, Classic Lesson Known Classic. This episode number 3217, Doubleshot 3111. We have a Hellboy trade and a Teenage Mutant Turtles trade. First up, it's B.P.R.D, the Bureau for Paranormal Research and Defense. This is the Omnibus that collects a few miniseries, basically the early stuff. Basically, this thing covers, according to Legacy numbering for this book, the first 12 issues of B.P.R.D. The writers are Mike Mignola, Christopher Golan, Tom Sinisky, Brian McDonald, Miles Gunter, Michael Avalon Omi, Brian Augustine, Jeff Johns, Scott Nolans, and Joe Harris. Artwork: Mike Mignola, Ryan Snook, Curtis Pernod, Matthew L. Smith, Derek Thompson, some of these people basically repeat, Guy Davis, Adam Panolon, Guillermo Zabaya, and Cameron Stewart. The cover is by Mike Mignola and Dave Stewart. Chapter break artwork by Mike Mignola, Dave Stewart, Michael Avalon Oming, Matt Houseworth, and Guy Davis. And this stuff was originally collected in three different shape paperbacks. You have Hell, Earth, and Other Stories, Soul of Venice, Other Stories, Plague of Frogs, Ape Sapien Science, some Apes from Hellboy Box, Full Box Evil, Ape Sapien Drum of the Dead, from stories from Dark Horse Extra. The stories of the book are Hollow Earth, Dark Horse Extra, Ape Sapien vs. Science, Drums of the Dead, Souls of Venice, Dark Waters, Night Train, The Summon of My Bed, Another Day at the Office, and Plague of Frogs. Plague of Frogs is simply put one of the agents dealing with basically a frog infestation, like similar to a zombie infestation, but it's very similar to that, and I thought it was really cool. Ape Sapien vs. Science is mostly put, this one shot is just Ape Sapien dealing with other science stuff. Now the opening story here, Hollow Earth, it's basically where Hellboy has resigned from B.P.R.D. and basically he's doing his own thing now. And by the way, this is actually, of all the Hellboy books, this is by far the longest series. According to Legacy numbering, this book lasts about 170 issues over the course of 20 years. Yep. So most for the Hollow Earth thing, so... And I love the artwork that Mike Mignola puts out. Yeah. I've always loved his artwork. Yeah, so Hellboy quits, and basically the Hollow Earth thing is mostly put just, it looks like focus on Ape Sapien, a lot of this book, where he goes underground. It's like bunch of other stuff here, but really cool storytelling here. Hollow Earth is just a few chapters. Basically, it's about underground type of story. Plus, of course, there's a woman pops up later in this. Of course, Hellboy is in the opening story arc per se, and it's only 3 issues. Yep, only 3 issues. Yep, and the book has this really interesting ending where I think it's like a woman where she's not wearing any pants. You see her rear end. Yeah, really cool underground adventure here. Yep, I was right. Yeah, it's a woman who wears nothing but this vest here, and then she goes out with Ape Sapien. And then we have a follow-up here where I think it starts sideways for a few pages. Just Ape Sapien vs. Science. This is a one-shot start by Mignola writes this thing. This is the one where Ape Sapien has a guy similar to him, where he's in a lab and eventually he's freed, and eventually do Drums of the Dead, which is another Ape Sapien story. This is written by Brian McDonald. Yes, it has some sharks here who are basically attacking each other for some reason. It's just another solo Ape Sapien story. And then we have the Soul of Venice, other stories. Soul of Venice is basically like a one-shot story, where it's all about the Ape Sapien B.P.R.D. in pretty much in Paris, going on a mission, which really cool spy stuff here with this one. Yeah, that's one thing I like of B.P.R.D. It's basically like people know B.P.R.D. It's just that they keep what their work is a secret. And of course, it counts here with Rasputin. You know, one of the main bad guys in the Hellboy universe. Yeah, he pops up in this story here. Then we have Dark Waters, where it's basically all about something in the water related to this town. That's kind of the gist of the story. I took a plague of frogs here. Night Train, yes, a story or focus on Lobster Johnson. Yes, this is a Lobster Johnson story that they threw in here because why not? Those of you curious, who the heck is Lobster Johnson? Lobster Johnson is basically Mike Mignolia's superhero for World War II, one of two. The other being, I think it was like Frankenstein Bound, I think it was. He also had Iron Man equivalent to this universe. Yep. So, and this feature appearance here by Hellboy. This is probably toward the end of the war. And Something in My Bed. This is Joe Hare's story. This is about this weird monster under this kid's bed. That's kind of the gist of the story, and Abe Sapien investigated. Really cool stuff for this one. Another Day at the Office. Yeah, just a standard office story when it comes to the B.P.R.D. dealing with some vampires. And then we have the Plague of Frogs, which is discussed already. And that's pretty much the trade in a nutshell. It's really, really good. Fantastic. I give this book here a 10 out of 10. Next up we have is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Turtles in Time. Yep. Another Turtles miniseries. I think there's like one more left to go. I think there is. Yes. So, written by, for the first chapter 1 and chapter 4 is Paul Atler. Eric Brennan does 2 and 3. The artist for these 4 issues. For issue 1 is Sophie Campbell. 2 is Charles Paul Wilson III. 3 is Ben Beats. And 4 is Dan Duncan. This particular mini-series involves the return of Brunette, where she has taken Turtles various points in history, like one point feudal Japan, I think one point the dinosaurs. Yeah, first it was dinosaurs for the opening issue. Yep, going to the Jurassic Age for the opening story, which really cool. Second story involves them going to feudal Japan, which also awesome. Yeah, I think they loosely adapted this miniseries for the storyline that happened in the 2012 series. Yes, because also have time travel there as well. And then issue number 3, Pirates. Yep. Basically, they're in the golden age of piracy in this one, which really cool here. But what about the last issue? The last issue, they're pretty much in the future. Yep, the future. And they kind of basically do futuristic stuff, and that's kind of it for this miniseries. Really, really good. I thoroughly enjoyed this one, reading this again. It's a fantastic miniseries. I give it also a 10 out of 10. Yep, so yeah, that's a typical view. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe to notifications. Next up is One Piece. Okay, see you. Bye.